Okay, let me get one more and then we can get this party started. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Big Nate. Welcome to the first ever episode of Big Nate Short Story Club, home of the best short story clubs. So as you may have noticed, I did in fact just hit this weed, and that's because I'm cross-posting this episode on my YouTube where I smoke and do book reviews. So I had to hit it one time for the gang, but I'm normally not going to smoke on this podcast, although I will say there are already a couple of exceptions. But so if you want to see that, get to my YouTube. But without further ado, welcome to Big Nate Short Story Club, home of the best short story clubs, where we do in-depth critical and literary analysis on short stories. So we're doing short stories of all shapes, sizes, and colors. We're doing classic literary fiction, science fiction, weird horror, philosophy, whatever you name it, so long as it's good, we'll do it. But I want to expand that to include things like personal essays and like literary analysis and philosophy, and like we'll do book club and like novellas, like Metamorphosis and Death of Ivan Ilyich. That's what, like, novella. Anyway, we're doing all types of short texts. Yeah, that's basically the show in a nutshell. A little bit about your host, a little bit about Big Nate. And I don't even think my YouTube people know this, so now you do. But so I'll just go down the line. I have a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature with a minor in philosophy. I'm just saying. Bachelor of Science in Psychology, Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience, and I'm currently a Cognitive Neuroscience PhD student at the University of Oregon, so studying memory. So, I think some people will find that relevant. Honestly, more than any of that, I just have a passion for reading and discussing literature, because honestly, all of that, none of that's even relevant when it comes down to it. So, okay, now the question is, why short stories? Okay, good. I'm glad you asked. So, short stories, I mean, just for one, short stories are increasingly becoming one of my favorite forms of literature. And it's because it's like a good short story, if it's good, it's able to convey like incredibly deep and interesting messages and characters and ideas and just everything contained in just the span of like a few pages. And it's like something that you can just sit down, contained story you can read from start to finish in one sitting, for the most part. Sometimes you got like long ones, but sometimes they're like relatively short. And like I said, if it's a good short story, it's gonna be something that sticks with you for a long time. It could even stick with you for the rest of your life type deal. But at the very least, it's gonna be something you can get something out of, something you can learn from. And what can I say? I just think there's real value in that. So another thing about short stories is I feel like they're the perfect gateway drug into reading, because like it's not the investment of a novel, which is like several days, if not several weeks. Like I said, you sit down and you read a short story, and that's what I mean, where you get something that like there's an immediate intellectual or literary payoff with a short story that's just like boom. So like I said, it's a good way to ease your way into those longer commitment but arguably greater paid off things like novels and stuff. So for this same reason, I also think it's a good way to read widely, like sample across the different authors and see whose writing style and ideas works best for you, because that's very much a goal of this podcast, is to get the listener to see who and what types of stories resonate with them. So that's another reason I think it's valuable to listen to the podcast. And along with that, it's also like, so I think I've got like 8 episodes pre-recorded, and the more we're doing it, the more I'm realizing it's like we really bring in like historical and cultural and biographical information that really does enrich your way of reading a story. Like it adds to the experience. But on top of that, it's also like listening to a podcast on a short story basically primes you for like the ideas and the structure of the story that you're getting into. Like you'll know what you're getting into when you go and read the actual text itself. You'll have that framework, and I think that's useful and can help people get more out of the text. Plus, just to see if it's even something you're interested in, right? So, and we're having fun along the way, and like the only people I bring on are people that I think have something interesting and insightful to add to the discussion, which I think you'll see very quickly when you scroll through and pick an episode of your choice that is very much the case. So anyway, without further ado, welcome to Big Nate Short Story Club, home of the best short story clubs. I do recommend you follow me on Instagram, because look, this is the idea, it's like whenever I can get someone to commit to doing a story, I'll announce it on my Instagram, and it's like a read along, and it's not a whole ass novel, it's a short story. You can just pick a day and be like, boom, bam, biggity. And then once the idea is like, once the podcast drops, then we're having a discussion in real time. And depending on how these numbers do, help me run them up, I might get a Discord, so it's like actual interface. So anyway, that's, you know, that's me thinking ahead. But I say just go ahead and jump right in. You can scroll through, see if there's an author or a story that sounds interesting to you, however you do podcasts. But check me out too. If you want to leave feedback of any kind, and also for me, I'm asking for story recommendations or essay recommendations. That's why I'm in for this right now, because it's like a network thing, you know. It's like if you get enough people listening, it's like you'll get. Anyway, email me at nathaniscashmoney@gmail.com. I was gonna make an email for this podcast, but as you can see, I did not. So I was gonna be nathaniscashmoney@gmail.com, and leave a mother freaking rating, dude. I hate a person listening to this shit or watch this video and don't smash that like, and then or don't leave a rating. Even if you don't even if it's mid, even if it's like a 3, just smash that whatever star. And thank you for listening to Big Nate Short Story Club, home of the best short story clubs.